covered the roof of our camper with some really cool wood finishings, but I think it's about time that we cover all these ugly walls with something as well. And we're gonna try this really thin cedar paneling. So let's see how it goes. This is episode 58 of rebuilding the vintage camper my wife and I bought on Facebook Marketplace completely from scratch. We first tested the cedar planking in this low area that will eventually be under the bed, so you won't see it, just in case we messed up or didn't like it. But neither of those things were the case, so we kept moving up the wall and quickly realized that we forgot to run the cables for the tail lights through the walls. So we paused and made some alterations so that those cables don't get pinched between the cedar paneling and the wall. Once that was done, we tested the tail lights to make sure everything still worked, and then we buttoned all the cables up with some heat shrink. Then we moved on to adding the base to what will eventually be our bed frame on hinges, so that we can access the electrical system under the bed. We framed out the edges of the bed frame and then made sure the hinges were working how we wanted them to. We won't be adding the slats across the bed frame just yet because we still want to be able to access this area and work in here freely, but we had to add the bed frame in just so that we could continue working on the back wall. And we did, panel by panel. And the reason we picked this cedar paneling specifically is because it's super thin, it's lightweight, and it's easy to kind of bend and mold as you need it, which is super helpful when you're working in a camper that is not exactly level. For the panels that covered up the taillights and the taillight cables, we used screws to secure them to the wall so that if we ever need to access the taillights or those cables, we can unscrew the panels and get to them easily. And for everything else, we use brad nails. We are planning on painting this paneling eventually, but we're really happy with how it turned out and how it looks. But let us know what you think in the comments.